Hey everybody, so I am just going to run through a really quick material tutorial. This material tutorial is going to cover the basics of applying materials to objects and surfaces in Rhino specifically. Later on we'll do a V-Ray one and we'll do a much more in-depth bump map, bitmap tutorial. But for right now I'm just going to kind of show you how to apply some native Rhino materials from its library and then a custom material as well, as indicated through this these very situation-esque objects right here. So you'll notice these all have their kind of little textures and sort of realistic renderings here. And I say sort of very loosely. Also, this thing over here is just my kind of, I don't know, my annotation for the direction of this video. The way I created this was with the dot command. If you type in dot, this annotation menu will come up and it'll always keep the text parallel to the camera. And you can fixate it to surfaces. Super handy, something you might want to consider using during the annotation sections of situations, which last year were pretty prevalent. So right now I'm going to show you how to apply a native Rhino material. So over here on this stop sign, it's just all plaster, the default material. I'm going to come over to the layers I've set up, and on red, you take this little circle over here. You can also come from the material tab on this right panel if you have that set up. And Rhino is going to give you an option of a few kind of like quick select ones, but you can also go to custom. For now, I'm just going to show you metal, which is in the quick select, and pick a color for it. So when you select metal, it's going to show up with these different metallic colors that you can choose, or you can pick a specific color to color your metal. Once you pick your color, it'll give you the option to make it rough or polished. And this little, I guess it's like a camera icon up in here in the corner, this little ball, you can really kind of get a nice gauge on what it's going to look like when you apply it to your material. So I'm going to go fairly shiny. And a bump texture is a bump map texture that allows, we'll get into it later, but it allows for certain depths to be applied to certain materials, and it makes it a lot more realistic looking and gives it that kind of, I don't know, level of realism that's essential. We'll get into it later. So I'm just going to pick medium for now for the scale of this thing. You can change that later on, but you'll notice it applies this really nice texture to my thing. My other stop sign is a little shinier, and I lost it. So what we're going to do now is apply just another quick metal to the post via the same menu. So I'm actually just going to use one of the presets here. Let's go stainless steel for now. And then I'm going to make it pretty rough and give it some dots so we can kind of see them. And it makes this really nice texture, even though that doesn't look realistic at all, but that is one way to make those materials via the Rhino one. Another way that you can do this as well is, let's say we didn't like the metals that it gave as an option. We can actually go into the custom library. And this is really cool because you go to use a new material and then you go import from material library. Now you have to be online to have this work, but these are all the materials that are downloaded when you download Rhino. So if we find metal in here, and we can go to textured for now. These aren't exactly what we want, but one way you can preview these is if you go to large icons and you can see this little camera thing. So just kind of putting it in relation to what these posts are, it's probably either hammered, diamond plate, or galvanized. I'm going to go galvanized. And this will give you a lot more options, as you can see. Typically this isn't glossy or reflective, but this is where you can start messing with transparency as well. I'm just going to leave it default here. And you'll notice it kind of comes up with a much more real texture. And now I'm going to show you how to scale these on a different material. So I'm going to start messing with my cone here. I've made these 3 sections, and I'm going to apply a custom material from my own material library. So to do that, go to the type and go to custom, and come down here to color and select the color you want. Now I found this JPEG on Google. Found a few different ones that I wanted to explore, as well as some kind of fabric that I've been using as the reflective material. So just for now, I'm just going to pick this kind of random one that I found on Google. Highly recommend kind of collecting your own material library, but this is the way that I'm doing this for this tutorial really quickly. And here you can mess with the bump mapping if you have a black and white image, and there's some more advanced settings as well. So we're going to apply that to that. You notice how it looks kind of good, but not quite to the same caliber. And so to fix that, we are going to, in this case, I actually found that apply box mapping is the way to go, but there's a few different ways you can scale materials onto things. So apply box mapping, how this is going to work is it's going to take that image and send it onto a box that surrounds that specific object. Now the box is going to be scaled the image is going to be scaled to how big you make this box. So if I make this box right here this big, that's how big my image is going to be on my object. So I want to say yes up here on the command bar to capped and mapping channel, enter. So now what's going to happen, the box is going to go away. And if we come over here to properties and then into texture mapping tab, similar to where you did decals and you do show mapping, it's going to show the mapping for you. And if you look at the object, you can actually see it scaling in size on the thing. And it's also scaled. This is actually the first box mapping I used when I was creating these objects. So I actually have two box mappings going on that won't happen for you. This is my old one, but you can scale it on the object until it looks kind of normal, right? So I'm going to leave it there, and then you can go hide mapping. And that's how you start to get those custom materials on your thing. In this case, the reason I said I was curious about box mapping is because there actually is spherical mapping and cylindrical mapping options as well when you're creating these. So this is apply box mapping. You can type in the command bar apply spherical or cylindrical, and it'll be a little more realistic. I found for this shape in this instance and this texture, it didn't matter what one I did. It kind of came out on the cone anyway. And so that's how you do those. And then I will see you around for the next tutorial. Thank you.